Star Citizen's dynamic universe simulation, or Quantum, not to be confused with quantum travel, brings together the economy, missions, what NPCs are doing, encounters that players will have, where resources are available, where ships are, what's going on with the game, where points of interest that are more sort of volatile may appear, and generally sort of tracks everything and how everything affects everything else. We recently heard from Tony Zurovec, the developer behind that system for Star Citizen, on Star Citizen Live, and I covered that in a separate video, but I will chuck that down below. We've had some more since then though. Joe Run posted some screen captures of Tony Z talking in Spectrum Chat about various pieces he's working on, and answering some questions about the Quantum simulation. We're working on a community update on Quantum, but it will also encompass some of the architecture tools and tech for dynamic events, virtual AI, dynamic populations, etc. So Tony had previously said that they don't know when this update will be up yet, but I'm hoping for it probably CitizenCon, I would expect 2021 if they announce that in the near future. I would expect something like towards the end of the year is what I'm trying to say. We're already working on the flow of the presentation and did an internal update a couple of months ago that went well. One of the main differences between the two, so this is referring to the 2019 CitizenCon Dynamic Universe Simulation demo that they showed, is that I want a few hard deliverables for the community update, whereas internally we're showing off things at partial states of completion all the time. So we know that it's basically got more moving pieces now, the dynamic universe simulation, as previously it was just a demo. And listening to what he said there, I suppose it sounds like maybe that community update is just that, something that they'll have separate from anything they do if they have a CitizenCon or whatever. Although if we see a CitizenCon this year, I would expect another dynamic universe simulation demoing of that sort of tech and Q&A for it. Talked a little bit about dynamic populations, so these refer to the ability to temporarily shift the quantity and composition of NPCs at a location. That'll eventually happen naturally with the quantum system, so that will be able to work out what's supposed to be where and when and how and what the loadouts are and all that sort of stuff, all part of the system automatically. But in the sort of shorter term, that's going to be controlled under dynamic events and sort of be more hard-coded in the short term. So that means dynamic events eventually will be fully tied into the quantum system, but they can also be tailored pockets of content in some situations. They will see variance though based on what's happening in the larger simulation. The Xenothreat mission isn't intended to occur in multiple locations. For an event, for a dynamic mission, it's pretty fixed. The upcoming Ninetales mission is more representative of dynamic positioning. We've heard some rumours about this Ninetales lockdown event. I'm expecting it to have a fleet that moves around and literally locks down planets and nearby stations, and then encourages players to drive those fleets of ships off. So think what they had with the Fleet Week ships in May 2020 with UE flying around, showing off and flying around and having fireworks, but less fireworks and more shooty. But it's also good to remember that the Xenothreat event is much more one of those tailored pockets of slightly more static content as an event, at least at the moment. It's the first time they've done a major event like this, and it's certainly at the largest scale they've ever done it. So it's something that's added to the tool set that they've got, so they can build out other dynamic events, and also are able to test this sort of style of event and work out problems for it, as they have been in 3.12.1, plowing through those problems and working out what to do better next time, as well as how to make the current one better. Tony also said that they are likely to wind up using a dynamic event to launch Pyro, so that when the gates are first opened, the universe can be in one state, and then after a while it'll settle down. A dynamic event to launch Pyro sounds awesome. It will get a lot of people testing that area, testing out jump points. A lot of people are already speculating as well that one of these events, potentially this one, will have Port Olisar blown up at the same time. We know that Port Olisar is getting replaced at some point, and some people think that that will be in some form of blaze of glory, and when it gets removed at some point anyway. But reasons to go to Pyro for an event when it's launched, that's a good idea. And we do know that Xenothreat hail from Pyro as well, so they're already starting to build some of the lore behind Pyro and get it into the game in some way, if you see what I mean. Tony then moved on to talk about aspects of Quantum will be hooked up prior to Pyro, but ultimately it's going to be a very protracted and gradual process. For example, you'll see Quantum dictating the price of fuel long before it handles all other commodities. So they're going to have it so that yes, we'll have dynamic pricing for certain things, and the dynamic economy will slowly expand out, but it's an iterative process. It's going to be stepped in bit by bit. There are various ways in which the system will link into things like resources. One of the ones on the near-term radar is depletable resources, whereupon you'll be able to mine everything out of an area and then need to find another area. To make that work well, though, we need to increase the challenge and fun of finding rich veins of valuable ore, and then you'll need to be able to mark those locations to return to later to the exact spot and potentially share that information with others. Things like this will be simulated in Quantum, so you'd only expect to see vast concentrations of NPCs dictated via Quantum in those areas where there's still a lot of valuable ore or valuable materials or reasons to go there. Now, this is great for many reasons, that statement there and what Tony talked about there, because we need to be able to mark locations, we need to be able to share locations. That is something that is so desperately needed in Star Citizen. The push as well for a dynamic universe where there is competition for miners to get these sort of like rich ore veins, to find out where they are, and then being able to travel to them again. Some of these things might pop up on servers and then be everywhere. So it's not supposed to just be sort of like volatile finding of, oh, I found a new asteroid field, but when you log back into the server next time it's gone. You'll be able to save that location, you'll be able to travel there again, it will be a important location for quite some time, and then, yeah, eventually it might fade out of existence after no one goes there for a long period of time, and then new areas appear, or some of the old asteroid fields, well, some new asteroids sort of might turn up there. So depletable resources does not necessarily mean depleted for ever. It just means depleted for the short to medium term, I would expect. But I'm sort of interested to know your thoughts on that. How exactly do you think they will implement that in particular? And will it be, well, actually, eventually you can entirely deplete an asteroid field entirely and it won't get new resources there ever? Or is it going to be, well, we'll actually get resources there over time, but it's mostly depleted in the short term, and we'll spawn them in a future update or something like that? How do you think that's actually going to be handled? In regards to differences in physicalized NPCs, virtual NPCs and Quanta, Tony said normal NPCs execute subsumption logic on the server and are put to sleep when a player is not in proximity to them. They're streamed out with the environments, basically, they're physicalized. Virtual NPCs, VNPCs, execute logic on the back end and retain the ability to do things at all times. VNPCs are much more heavyweight than Quanta, e.g. they can directly interact with players and loads of service infrastructure, but far lighter than regular NPCs as they don't have to be physicalized. The first use case for VNPCs will be an upcoming update to the bounty hunting occupation, whereupon tracking and hunting them across the solar system will become part of the challenge. Fantastic. I want bounty hunter updates. I think we've expected them to be reasonably fleshing out the bounty hunter gameplay throughout 2021, and that sort of helps solidify that expectation. Tracking and following a NPC that can quantum, that is somewhere in the system, and you can actually follow and intercept. That's essential for fun and proper bounty hunting gameplay, along with the guild system and lots of other bounty hunting updates that they've got planned, and reputation and all that sort of stuff. So really looking forward to that. It's always great to hear from Tony Zurovec, and I love it when Cloud Imperium devs answer questions and share more information, and go to the forums or go to the chats and have a bit of a chatteroo. Star Citizen won't be an MMO until these systems are complete, along with server meshing and true persistence, and it's such a major milestone getting the dynamic universe simulation in, but it is going to be a slow process, it is going to be iterative, but I am very much looking forward to those step-by-step updates and that updated presentation whenever that may be. But what do you think? When could we see these updates in-game in any meaningful way? When do you think we'll see a presentation? Will it be at CitizenCon? Will it be well before that? Will it be well after that? Are some of these updates a long way off, or are we going to start seeing them next year? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and February is no different. This month is for a Mercury Star Runner. It's a multi-role ship, but also a solid data and cargo runner, and flyable now in-game. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during a month. Details below. I'm also a massive shill for NordVPN. If you are looking for a VPN service, and you should, then NordVPN acts as a fleet of ships protecting your data from prying eyes while also providing privacy like a ship would. Enjoy the interwebs without borders, securely and safely. Use the links below for discount. I can't promise it will make your life better, but I can imply that. Also, there is Game Glass. Do you have a touchscreen device that you want to use as a diegetic controller or interactive panel for Star Citizen and other games? Check out Game Glass. It's free for life for the basic version, and you can buy additional shards or functionality or subscribe for more as well. A special thank you for everyone that goes the extra mile to become a channel member or Patreon, as well as just liking, subscribing, or sharing these videos. If you would like to further support the channel, then please consider using the YouTube join button below my videos and becoming a BoredGamer channel member. You'll get some exclusive content each month, as well as badges that appear in the comments section of videos and emotes that you can use and all that sort of jazz. Thank you so much for checking out my content. You take care, and I hope to see you in the verse.